Hi, everyone, and welcome to a Rescripted podcast, where we could celebrate the great things in life, share about the not so great parts, and find out how we can rewrite those challenges, turn them into insightful moments that will lead us to change, to growth, to happiness, and empowerment, all so that we can live the life we truly want to experience. In today's episode, we are going to talk about something that's very, very true to a lot of us, and that is when your success is limited by your self-doubt. Have you ever felt like the more successful you become in life, the more paralyzed you feel? It's like you got to the level of where you worked really hard to get. This is the area in life that you prayed for, but for whatever reason, it doesn't feel quite like you thought it would. You thought you would be more excited about life. You thought that you would be enjoying it and you'd be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. But in actuality, you find yourself managing it way more than you thought you did. And instead of being able to see the process, right, and the proof of progress, what you realize is that there's endless fires that you always have to put out, and you're not able to rest. You're always feeling like the next shoe is going to drop, and you never feel like you can get ahead because you're always behind the 8 ball. You have learned that you always have to be chasing the next best thing, your metrics, your goals, the next latest and the greatest software that's out there. There's always something to learn. There's always something to achieve. There's always something to gain. And even when you do meet your metrics, and even when you do meet your goals, it doesn't stop there. There's another goal to meet. There's another goal that you have to achieve. So it doesn't allow you to live in the moment. It doesn't allow you to realize what you've already achieved, what you've already done is monumental. Because at one time it was a wish, at one time it was a dream, at one time you prayed for it. And when it finally happened, you just zoomed on by and didn't even realize that what you cared for so much and what meant so much to you, you didn't even get to enjoy it because you were so distracted. There was something else to achieve or there was something else to fix. So what does that do? It makes you feel like you're not enjoying your own life, and it makes you feel almost like a fraud because this is what you prayed for, but why don't you love it? And the truth of the matter is that there's a part of you that you're not listening to. There's a part of you that you're not trusting because you know sometimes you should be stopping and you go. And there's times where you know that you should go and you stop yourself. And a lot of times that just comes from listening to external advice. And it's okay. There's some people that have wonderful advice, and there's some people that their advice is going to be sound advice for you, but not everything is meant for you. And that's the beauty of it, is that there's something for everyone, but everything isn't for everyone. And when we think that we have to do all the things all the time, well, then you get so distracted and you limit your success, you limit your growth, you limit your progress. And in that, you are actually limiting your true potential. Because the truth of the matter is, you realize all this success and all these achievements, although they're wonderful and they're great and they're proof that you could do anything, the truth of the matter is it really isn't the achievements that you're after. What you're really chasing is to find the full you, your full potential, and what you're really, really, really chasing, that desire that you're yearning for so bad, what's going to fill that void that you feel internally is finding the wholeness of you. And you see, that's why you can't spend years, endless time listening to other people's advice. Listen to it, see if it's something that you could benefit from. And if you can, great. If it's not meant for you, it's fine. It doesn't mean that they were ill-willed. It doesn't mean that you're, ungrateful. It just means that you have to listen to your intuition to realize what is best for you, what is suited for you, what is meant for you. And there's only so much of outside advice can be guiding light, but when you listen to too much, it can be your distraction and it could take you off your track. Because what people don't tell you is that you are meant to build your success. And when you're always trying to get accolades from somebody else's approval, when you're always trying to get awards to prove to somebody else how great you are, you're forgetting that you're not meeting your internal metrics, right? There's something inside of you that you resist to listen to. There's something inside of you that you hold back on. And sometimes you're so busy pleasing everybody else that you forget that there's something that you are meant to do. You're definitely called to do something. And when you put you on the back burner, that void starts to grow. That internal constraint inside of you lets you know that you're off track, but you don't know why, because you are overwhelmed, you are burned out, and your schedule is filled to the brim. So how do you have time to listen to yourself? How do you have time to get back on track? You barely have time to work out, right? And that's a stress reliever. Because ultimately, what you really want, what we all really want, is a better quality of life, right? And that's not always found in being able to follow somebody else's path to their success, to their dream, because you may not share the same dream. There may be somebody that wants the big, beautiful house with a mansion, and then there's somebody else that may just want a houseboat. Everybody has their own dreams. Some people want to travel the world. Some people want to build their local towns, right, and make it more prosperous. Everybody has different dreams. Everybody has different aspirations, and that's okay. And that's so beautiful. But you have to realize, what is it that you need to fulfill for you? Because I can guarantee you're not going to find it in having a better title. You're not going to find it in getting a better position. And you're really not even going to find it when you feel like you're in better rooms. You're going to feel it when you are better for you, when you're listening to yourself, when you're listening to your intuition, when you're really stepping into that role where you feel the wholeness of you. That's where everything aligns, everything comes together, and everything feels so good. And you feel blessed to have those things. You feel blessed to be able to work through those things. So when those fires come up, when those challenges come up, when those obstacles come up, because I'm not saying that they won't, but at least there's a method to that madness. You understand what it's building you for, what it's prepping you for, where is it leading you to. Instead of just being another fire that you have to put out, you realize this is going to strengthen you, and this is going to make your journey so much better, because it's giving you those elements in your life that you need to develop personally to get to the next stage that you really want to get to. I know it's easier said than done. I understand it. I get it. Because when you go and you do whatever it is that you professionally build yourself up to be, it's easier that way. You almost get this feeling of, you get fed projects, right? You don't have to go out and seek them yourself. You get fed clients when you work as a contractor. There's different areas where you don't have to develop yourself so much, because you're able to get yourself in those better rooms, or you're able to have them filter some things for you, so where you don't have to do the work. But you also have to realize that that's going to limit your capacity also, right? Sometimes you want to grow bigger. Sometimes you want to be more bold in what you're doing. But when you let somebody else lead your calling, it's going to be limited, because they're not leading you to your calling. They don't know what your calling is. They're leading you to theirs. And that's what you signed up for, right? When you have this amazing title, when you have this beautiful position, when you have this really important job, you signed up to be able to fulfill somebody else's aspirations. But is it really feeling yours? Or do you just feel like you have some elements to make it so comfortable that you're like, well, I'm just going to stay here and deal with the silent internal constraint that's slowly but surely growing louder and louder, and making it so uncomfortable and almost impossible to ignore. Really look at it, right? Because at the end of the day, you have to put in the work regardless of what position you're in. But what changes is the level of impact. What changes is how far you want to go, right? How far are you allowed to go? You know what I mean? And sometimes I say that because how far does the industry allow you to go? But also, how far do you allow yourself to go? And that's what we're really talking about here, is that sometimes we distract ourselves so much and we use them as excuses, but it really is just kind of like a barrier to allow ourselves to realize that we're scared and we don't want to face it. So we rather boggle ourselves down with a lot of busy work, so that way we're too busy to really get to that thing that we really want to do, but we're just so scared of, because it takes a lot of work, a lot of sacrifice, and a lot of devotion. And sometimes you don't even know if it's worth it, because it takes a little bit of time to develop. Nothing really happens overnight when it's worth it, right? We've heard that before, and it's absolutely true. You have to invest, right? You have to invest in yourself, and not just by money. I mean, time, effort, energy, developing yourself, and being able to see what's in you when others can't see it, right? And that's the beauty of it, is that when you start pouring into you, there's patterns that have to break in order for you to develop the patterns and the muscle memory that you need so that you can be good at what you're meant to be, so that you can understand what is the systematic operation of what you're called to do. And that's why a lot of times when you feel like you start to bet on yourself, everything falls apart. It's those old patterns that start to fall apart and break down because you can't rely on them. They're not going to take you to where you need to. And sometimes you don't have to get rid of everything, right? But there is going to be a complete change. And I don't say change like an overhaul, but a change of how you operate, a change of how you look at things and how sometimes you manage things. And I wouldn't say it's more of an overhaul, but more of like a redirection, right? Kind of like calibrating everything and doing things the way that it's supposed to be. Because in that, you're going to work devotedly, but you're not going to be as burnt out because you realize this is all going towards something. What makes you feel burnt out is when you're working on so many different things and they don't connect, so you don't see the bigger picture and you're just like, oh, I feel like I'm spinning my wheels. That's when you really feel burnt out and you're just like, I need a break, I need to step away. But when you work on your passion, when you work on your calling, you can get burned out, but you're just like, I just need a minute, I just need a quick nap and I'll be right back to it. So you see the difference where one you're trying to escape and the other one you just know you have to recharge and then you're excited to get back to it. That's a big difference, right? That's a whole different experience. And that's what we all want. We all want to be recharged to then go back and do the thing that we absolutely love. And the beauty of that walk is that you get to see that you have to develop yourself. You know, there's elements of you that you have to develop personally, right? Nobody can show you, nobody can teach you. These are things that you have to sit down and intuitively listen to yourself and see what are the things that you have to develop. What are the things that you have pushed to the side and now you have to bring to the forefront. And once you start doing that, you're going to see that you're going to impress yourself. You're going to be excited with all the things that you learn about yourself. You're going to be so impressed at all the capabilities that you wanted to do, you didn't think you could, but once you were able to like reacclimate how you manage things, then you're able to be effective in that arena for you. And that is so beautiful because all the things that you wished of, dreamed about, you know, meditated over, they all start to align. And it's only because you had to redirect everything, right? You had to be able to look at something, dissect it, and redirect it. And a lot of times that's what it is. It's not so much of an overhaul. You don't always have to start over. I mean, depending on what you're doing, but a lot of times you don't have to. It's just rearranging some of the things so that they can better serve you, so that you can have a better impact. And not everything is going into managing, but now you get to steward things, and that's completely different. Because the secret is that when you do something and you are stewarding what you're called to do, you're not burned out. There is sustainability in what you do. And that's why you get to enjoy it. That's why you don't have to overwork it. And when you do try to overwork it, you kind of kill it a little bit. And that's when you know, hey, let me relax. Let me, you know, allow it to just like do its thing. Allow it to like recalibrate. Because if something is sustainable, it has to go through its stages. It has to go through the phases. There's a synchronized order that needs to take place. And that's the beauty of it, is when you're doing what you're called to do, when you are stepping into what you are meant to steward, there's a sustainability to it that it allows you to work. You don't want to not work. You want to work the thing, but you want to be able to also enjoy it too. You don't want to just labor at it. You get what I mean? You want to be able to enjoy it as well. And that's when you operate in your wholeness, you get that balance. You get to be able to produce, but also enjoy. And that is what's so beautiful about following your calling, is that it energizes you. You don't need as much coffee as you think you do. You don't need all these external things to kind of stimulate you. Your calling itself is going to stimulate you, and it's going to challenge you, but those challenges are to develop you, and then you're going to be impressed by yourself, and you're going to be able to impact others, and others get to be a part of it, so you don't have to do it alone. And it becomes this beautiful ecosystem of working towards something beautiful, not draining, not slaving away, not feeling like you're tied tied to something. You get to feel like you're part of something. And that's the beauty of life, is that you feel synchronized with what you're doing. You feel succinct with your skills, your ability, your talents, but also enjoying life. You know, not everything has to be from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, you're working and laboring on something. You have to enjoy it too. That's part of the recipe, is enjoying life as well. So you can't cut that out. And when you do, that's when things start to feel like, this isn't fully developed. There's still some elements missing, because remember, when we're rested and when we're refreshed, you are more creative. You do have areas where you're able to like dissect things a little bit more. You can be more strategic because you're able to see things from different angles, different layers. You are a better version of yourself. You're not burnt out. You're not gassed out, and you're not at your wit's end. You know, so that's why rest is so important, because it does make you sharper. This time around, when you're achieving success from your wholeness, when you're achieving success from what you're meant to steward, when you're really in alignment with who you are, then the only thing that's missing is that void feeling that you had prior, right? You were able to get success before, but you still had that internal constraint. You were able to get accolades, but you still felt that void where you felt like you couldn't really truly enjoy it as much, and you were so burnt out that you kind of felt like an imposter, right? So there's all these things that there was almost like that, waiting for the other shoe to drop, waiting for something else magnificent to happen. But when you're operating in your calling, you don't feel any of that. You feel tired, you're like, hey, let me go get, some rest, and then you come back refreshed. And at the end of the day, you get more spark, you get more creativity, you get more ambition, you get more excited. And it's so beautiful, because now when you're collaborative with somebody, you realize that you have a certain skill set, they have a certain skill set, and you're able to make something beautiful that really does hold the impact that you truly desire to make. And that's the beautiful part, is you really get to work and you can accomplish things. I'm not saying that you're not accomplishing them, but you get to accomplish them feeling whole, not feeling a void within. Sometimes, truly, let's be honest, what really gets honored is busyness. It's not always business, because when you want to do business, then you look for sustainability. But a lot of times when we don't know what we're doing, we like to hide behind busyness, and actually that doesn't really move the mark the way that you really want it to. And that's where there's so many fires that you have to put out, because you don't really realize you don't need to be that busy to be so progressive. You just really need to know what you're doing and really work in alignment to have more progress and more sustainability. Because as long as you keep operating on being more busy, you're falling further and further away from your alignment. And that's when those pain points come back, that friction comes back, that internal constraint comes back, and all those feelings come back. So you make the choice. Do you really want to be busy and unfulfilled, or do you want to be purposeful and impactful? Sustainability is going to give you that. So if you are interested in truly being aligned with your wholeness, and you really want to operate from that avenue, and you really want to enjoy life and realize you're meant to do wonderful things, you're meant to impact in a great way, but you can't do it while also feeling burnt out and out of alignment, then this is a 2-step. I will invite you to do the quiz if you haven't already done it. It is the internal constraint quiz. It is completely free. You could try it, and it allows you to see where you are struggling with internal constraint, and it does provide you to the different workbooks that can help you with it. And once you complete that, then you're able to get into the self-authority program, and that shows you how to really get into alignment. It allows you to see what's out of alignment and how to bring it all back to center, because you didn't come this far just to come this far, right? You have a wonderful opportunity to get into alignment and really do what you want to do, which is provide the impact that you're meant to do. And of course, everything will be linked down below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And if you enjoyed this episode and feel like it was insightful, then I ask you to please rate it, like it, and subscribe, and share it with someone you feel will enjoy it. I'll be back here next week, and we will continue to discuss matters regarding personal development. Take care, guys. Have a blessed week, and I'll see you next time.